Hi everyone and welcome to my June wrap up. I'm not going to do a July TBR because I'm going to do like a summer TBR for like July and August together because I don't really know what I want to read right now. I've just sort of made like a collective summer like list of books that I want to read. So yeah, I'm just going to go through all the books that I read in June. I had quite a good reading month, had a few 5-star reads, so that's good, and a few like rubbishy ones as well as usual, but yeah, as a whole, I had a good reading month. So first of all, I finished off the Kiss Quotient series by reading The Heart Principle by Helen Hoang, and this one I did really enjoy, just like the other two. I really enjoyed the story. I think I gave every book in the series 4 stars. They're just like a really like cute little romance, you know. They're just nice and wholesome. They're nothing like groundbreaking. They're nothing like I'm not going to reread this or anything, but they're just really cute romances, and I definitely recommend these, especially throughout the summer if you just want a really light kind of quick romance, because they're only really short, about 300 pages long, so got through this really quick and I gave that 4 out of 5 stars. I then read To Rule a Fae Throne, which is it's like a little novella that goes with the Fair Isle trilogy by Tessonja Odette, and basically this one's kind of like a snippet of the first book in the Fair Isle trilogy, but like from the guy's point of view. So it's basically stuff we already know, but just from the guy's point of view. So it was okay. I gave it 3 out of 5 stars. I think it was literally about 30 pages. I did enjoy that. It was a good like little quick novella in between reading full books. And then I read this book for a video. The video is actually up now. It's reading books out of my comfort zone, and for some reason the audio at the beginning of this book was like really echoey. It sounds like I'm in like a stadium or something. It's really weird. So I don't know what happened there, and I don't have the actual videos anymore to edit them. I deleted them off my camera, so yeah, I'm gonna have to just leave that video how it is. Just if you do watch the video, please try and ignore the echoey noises. It does get better throughout the video. Like halfway through the video that stops, so yeah, if you do watch the video, just bear with it. I'll link that video in the description below, but basically one of the books that I read for that video was Project Hail Mary by Weir, and the reason this is out of my comfort zone is because it's a sci-fi, and I don't really read sci-fi. I've not read a book like this before. I've watched films that are of space and stuff, but not read an actual book. And let me tell you, this book made me feel really intelligent while I was reading it, because it's got so much like science stuff in here, literally just like so many technical things, and it just makes me feel smart reading it. I don't know, but you would think that is quite boring, reading like loads of sciencey stuff in a book, like, but it wasn't. It really wasn't boring. It was just really interesting. And basically this book's about a guy who wakes up in space. It turns out he's on like a spaceship on his own. His other people that he was with are dead, and he's kind of, his memory's slowly coming back to him as to why he is there, what he's doing, and he's basically on a mission to save Earth pretty much. And some stuff happens, and yeah, I'm not gonna spoil it for you because it was unexpected for me, and I really enjoyed this book. I just really loved it. I flew through it. It felt like I flew through it because I read it quite quick, but pace wise I read it quite slowly just because so much to take in. But when I was reading this, it felt like I was there. Like it was weird, like I was in like the zone reading this, which doesn't happen too often really, but I was like properly in the zone, just sucked into the book. It was so good. So definitely recommend this, and if you don't read sci-fi, it's a good place to start because it was really good. And they're making it into a movie as well, so I'm excited for that. I then read Red Queen by Victoria Aveyard. I was going to do a vlog for this of like reading popular like TikTok books and stuff, but I never got around to it in the end. So I did read this, which is just the first book in the Red Queen series. I really enjoyed this. I gave it 4 out of 5 stars. It's basically about like a dystopian kind of world where there's like people that have red blood and people that have silver blood, and the people that have silver blood have powers and stuff, and they're like superior over the reds, and they like treat the reds kind of as slaves basically. And yeah, so it's not really a good life to be a red, but then if you're a silver, you're kind of like cold-hearted and just, you know, not a nice person. The book centers around a girl called Mare, and she somehow ends up going into the like silvers section, and stuff happens, and she kind of wonders like, is she actually a red blood or is she a silver blood? What is going on there? But yeah, I did enjoy this and I can't wait to get to the rest of the series. And then after that I did read, this is like part of the Red Queen series, this is the book of novellas. So I read the first novella in the book, which is called, I've written it down, it's called Queen's Song, this one, which is just the first novella in the book. I read that one, it was okay. It was like a bit of backstory about some of the characters, some of the silver characters from the first book, but it was alright. I gave it 2.5 stars. It was a little bit boring, wasn't the best novella ever. And then I started reading the second novella, which is called Steel Scars, which is about some of the characters and some of the stuff that goes on in the first book. And I DNF'd this novella because I just couldn't get through it. I didn't understand what was going on. And basically throughout the novella there's some like, I don't know how to explain it, but there's like these like, oh, I don't know how to explain it. But it's like, the following message has been decoded, confidential, command clearance required, operative, kernel redacted, designation RAM, origin, trial, LL, and all this kind of stuff. And I'm like, I don't actually understand what any of that is. So I just kind of gave up with that because I didn't really understand what was going on and I just couldn't be bothered with it. So hopefully, I think there's 2 more novellas in this book and hopefully they're better than those first 2, but anyway. I also read on my Kindle Killjoy by Holly Jackson, and this is like a prequel to the Good Girls Guide to Murder series, and this is just like a short kind of novella thing. I think it was about 100 pages long, so it only took me a couple hours to read, and I did really enjoy this. It's kind of like Pip and her friends are playing like a murder mystery game, and it's meant to be what got her into murder mysteries and like that detective-y kind of stuff. And I did really enjoy this. I gave it 3.5 out of 5 stars. I couldn't give it any higher than that really because it's a novella and it just wasn't that deep, you know what I mean? Like there was not too much to it. It was just like a little fun murder mystery game thing with her and her friends. So it was a good fun read. I really enjoyed it. But yeah, 3 out of 5 stars. I then read a nice summary book, which is Every Summer After by Carley Fortune, and I did actually fly through this book. I read this in like 2 days. It's not that thick, but yeah, I love this. It's about a girl who, when she was younger, every summer they go to this summer house.
Summer like lake place with lake,
They go to a place with a lake, like their summer house, and next door there's this family with 2 brothers. She ends up falling for one of the brothers and like that kind of thing, and it goes through all the summers, some of the summers that they've had together. There's another timeline which is going back and forth between timelines then and now it's 10 years later and she hasn't spoken to them for about 10-11 years, and then she somehow gets back in contact with him, and it's kind of, you're finding out slowly why they stopped talking and that kind of thing. But it just gave me like a really, like, I can't explain it, like a nostalgic kind of feel. It just gave me that feeling, like that 5-star kind of like nostalgic feeling. I don't know. It just really, really good, and I just flew for it, and so I couldn't not give it 5 stars. So I gave it 5 stars. Obviously, it was just really, really good. I just like this kind of book. It just kind of hit me in the feels. So yeah, I definitely recommend this for a nice summer read if you want to read something on the beach or if you're going on holiday or something. Pick this one up. I also listened to on audiobook Red, White and Royal Blue by Casey McQuiston, and I wasn't too sure what to think of this going into it because I did start reading and I DNF'd, is it called One Last Stop by the same author? I really didn't like that book, I found it really boring. But this one I listened to via audiobook. I did really enjoy this, I gave it 4 out of 5 stars. And it's basically a rom-com between 2 guys, and one of the guys is the Prince of Wales in England, and then the other guy is the son of the President of the United States. So yes, very, very different, quite unrealistic storyline really, but it was really, really good. And it wasn't just a rom-com, I mean it was rom-com-y vibes, but at the same time there was also some more like deeper topics such as like anxiety and, well, I guess depression and like, you know, deeper stuff like that as well within the story, and it was just really, really good. All the side characters were really cute, and this book's also being made into a film. I think it comes out in August this year actually, so I'm definitely going to be watching that. I also read Heartbones by Colleen Hoover. I didn't actually read the like synopsis of this before I went into it, so I went into this completely blind. All I knew is that it was kind of summary and it was like a YA kind of summary book. So I thought I'll read it now because it's summer. And I flew through this really quickly as well. I just love Colleen Hoover's writing. It's just so addictive. And it's about this girl who she ends up not having anywhere to stay really. She doesn't, because something happens to her mum. Her mum's an addict. Something happens to her mum. So she ends up going to stay with her dad, who she barely knows, and he lives, well, they stay at this like summer house over summer. So she obviously goes to stay with them, and she meets some people there, and yeah, like some kind of romancy thing happens. And yeah, it was just a really, really good book. I just really enjoy her writing as usual, so I gave it 4 out of 5 stars. I just find her writing just so easy to get through. And as usual, there's her kind of like little plot twists toward the end. I feel like Colleen Hoover always has some kind of like plot twist in her books as well, which I also really love, because it just adds a bit of like extra intrigue when you're reading and just makes you not want to put it down because you want to know what's going to happen. So yeah, I do recommend this. Another good summary book. I also then picked up The Holiday by T M Logan, which is like a thriller book, and this I borrowed off someone in my family. I think it was my auntie's book, who'd then given it to my mum, and then my mum gave it to me, so I read it. I don't have it to show you because I've given it back now, but this was a really good thriller. I gave it 4 out of 5 stars. There is a TV show about this book as well, which is, it was like on Channel 5 or something, I don't know, but I looked it up and the reviews are terrible. Apparently they just said it's an awful adaptation. So, and I looked at the trailer as well and it doesn't look great, to be fair. So I don't think I'm going to bother watching that, but I did really enjoy the book. It's about a group of friends, and they haven't met up. They usually met up once a year, like as a group. They're like friends from when they were younger, and they decided to meet up with their families, all their families together, and go on holiday in France. And just some secrets come out, and she says the main woman who you're following, she suspects that her husband's cheating on her with one of her friends, and just loads of stuff happens, loads of secrets come out, and there's just like loads of twisty things going on. So it was just really good, nice good thriller. I feel like in the summer I always fancy reading romances or thrillers, so yeah, I gave that 4 out of 5 stars. I got through that book in like a day, so yeah, I recommend that for just a nice fun thriller. And the last book I read was Family of Liars by E. Lockhart. I listened to this by audiobook. I gave it 2.5 stars out of 5. It just wasn't my favourite. I read the first book ages ago. Which was We Were Liars, and the writing was interesting. I don't know. The book was okay. I think I gave it 3 out of 5 stars. I can't really remember. But I read it ages ago. And I just thought I'd listen to this one via audiobooks. I didn't have high expectations because I wasn't too keen on the first book. But I just didn't, I don't know if it's because I listened to it via audio, but I didn't necessarily know who all the characters were. I knew obviously the main characters and the rough idea of what was going on, but it was just there were certain characters I was like, I don't actually know who this is. It's probably because I listened to it via audio. Like sometimes when I'm listening to an audiobook I zone out or something, or I quite often listen to an audiobook when I'm going to bed. So my brain kind of shuts off and I start falling asleep, so I miss parts of it and stuff like that. So that might have been why, but in general it was okay, but I wouldn't really recommend it. So I only gave that 2.5 out of 5 stars. But yeah, that is all the books that I read this month. I had quite a good reading month. Let me know if you read any of these, and the ones that I would definitely recommend out the ones I read was Heartbones, Every Summer After, and Project Hail Mary. I'd say these are my 3 favourites from the month, so definitely pick these up if you want, well, these ones if you want something summery, this one if you want something a bit different, or you want to try something sci-fi. But yeah, I hope you enjoyed the video, and I'll hopefully see you in the next one. Bye!